the first headline is Dial a Dealer. Tell us the story behind that.
Yeah, this is the splash on the Ham and High this week, and they are looking at these high-tech BT phone boxes that are popping up. They've been trialled actually in Camden Town, but you can find them popping across London. Replacement phone boxes, really, but they've got advertising on, and you can charge your phones, look at maps, make free phone calls. And that's the interesting bit, because they have been examining this and have found plenty of evidence that they're being used for what they call a more sinister use, and that they've witnessed people queuing up at the in Link Point, by Camden Town Tube to apparently dial dealers and buy drugs. They spotted somebody calling a number, waiting. Somebody yards away, a few minutes later, turns up, and they appear to do a drugs deal as a result of this.
And this is sort of key, because in that area, the police have made big noise about clearing that up and not having the dealers that used to always approach you as you left the station.
Absolutely, and they've got a quote here from Detective Inspector William Lexton Jones of Camden North. He said here, the disruption of the drugs market is a reason why serious violence will increase. They said they don't believe that there's criminal activity linked to the point, although they concede Camden Town has been a historic hub for drugs, and indeed those T-shirts with aliens on saying "Take me to your dealer." I think what's key, just to mention, they think, of course, if you use one of these, you're not using your mobile phone. So it's not traceable.
Not traceable.
So people previously have bought those, disposable, effective, cheap ones. With these, you don't even need them.
Let's move now to Waltham Forest. What's the big story there?
Waltham Forest Guardian is reporting on the council there is going to court at a rather large cost to the taxpayer to fight the government, which is trying to stop it from publishing its own newspaper quite so often. Waltham Forest Council has got a newspaper that comes out every 2 weeks. Now, under the law, they're only allowed to publish one 4 times a year, but they're continuing to do it, and they're seeking a judicial review hearing. Now, I can't pretend to be objective on this. I work for a company whose stock in trade is local newspapers, and like a lot, we get affected by councils printing their own newspapers, which takes away advertising, which of course makes it more difficult for local papers to oversee local democracy. But in the interest of balance here, the council leader Claire Coghill said, "My view is that we should challenge the government's position on this. I feel very strongly that it's right, proper and fair for us as a local authority to be able to communicate with our residents," which is, it seems quite fair. But on the other hand, say where I live in Hackney, our local council publishes a newspaper which has recipes in there, it has puzzles, and you wonder if that really is what a council should be spending money on.
Yeah, I've never met anyone who likes those papers coming through their door. Let's move to a rather extraordinary prospect up in Archway. Tell us about this.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. In the Islington Gazette, they're talking about the potential reopening of the Archway Tavern, which, if anyone knows that area, is quite an iconic pub. It was on the front cover of the Kinks' Muswell Hillbillies album. But with the plans going forward here, potentially, half of it will be turned into a nursery, but with the front half still being reopened as a pub. And some members of the local community have called that totally bonkers, and are questioning whether it's suitable to have people boozing next to a kid's play school.
And that, of course, has people up in arms because of the proximity of the two.
Yeah, absolutely. People wonder if that's right. And also, the council is concerned because they want to see this pub reopened. It's not aesthetically pleasing to have a pub shut, and it's not doing anything economically. But the problem is, if you're going to have a nursery or play school as part of it, then presumably Ofsted are once going to have a say in checking whether they think that that's suitable, and that's going to knock this back even further. And it's 2014 that it's last opened, so it's been 4 years just lying there unused.
We're going to have to move on just quickly now to a rather extraordinary story involving PEP missing posters. Tell us about this.
Very, very weird. Bexley News Shop is reporting that around the Greenwich area, missing PEP posters have been turned up, but beneath them it's got an advertisement for the company Just Roll, which makes pies, saying, for example, under a missing dog called Duke, "Found Duke, reward yourself. Anything tastes good in a pie," which is obviously very odd and potentially quite distressing if you are the owner of one of these pets, because these are real missing pet owners. Just Roll said that there's nothing to do with them, and they're endeavouring to have them taken down.
Well, if anyone knows anything about how they've managed to get about, do let us know. Matt Withers from Archant Media, thank you as always for going through a list of fascinating stories.